Welcome to the International Teacher Podcast with your host, Kent the Cat Guy, Jacqueline from JP Mint Consulting, Darian the Family Guy, and Greg the Single Guy, bringing you episodes from around the world about the best-kept secret in teaching. You got it, international education. Welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of International Teacher Podcast. I am joined with Greg the Single Guy, tech support today.
Well, thank you very much, JP. It's good to be back online.
I think you're tech support every day, pretty much whenever we have the episodes. And we are having a repeat guest, so we're very excited to see Hannah and Jake Loney. Hey, Hannah and Jake, how are you guys?
Hey. We're doing good.
Yeah, we're good.
Our avid fans will maybe remember Hannah and Jake were in Kuwait and then went back to the States and then went back to Kuwait, but now they're somewhere else. So we get to talk all about this. And they have a couple of boys, a couple of kids. So this is going to be a great episode for those people that are thinking about maybe moving overseas and they've got kids and they're like, is this possible? And here is the proof, Hannah and Jake. So welcome and thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having us again.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was almost 30 episodes ago. I mean, we're on 130 or something right now or something close. And we had them back on 99 right before the 100th episode. So thank you. That was not even on video. That was just on audio. So it's sort of fun. And yeah, surprised you guys are on video if you haven't seen us in a while. But thank you for coming back on our show. I can't wait to talk about where you are now.
So for the new listeners and anyone that doesn't go back to episode 99, can you give us sort of a quick summary of your overseas experience and how you got into international teaching?
Yeah, so I went to school for teaching. I was a teacher for 1 year in the States, and I was teaching in Texas. We met at college, and
before that.
Yep, and we got married, and right after we got married, we went to Brazil, where
I was a TCK, a third culture kid in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So I went to a little itty bitty international school there. Not any of the big ones that anyone would know.
Rio International School.
Yeah,
what it's
and
called.
so we spent 2 years in Rio teaching. I wasn't originally in education. I was a trailing spouse, but I kind of went an alternative route into education and got my teaching credentials through Moreland. And then after 2 years, we decided to go to Kuwait. And we were in Kuwait for 3 years. We had our first son in Kuwait.
Right before COVID.
That's one of my favorite stories. Was that the story about the baby exchange?
Yes. Yeah.
During COVID? Everybody, you have to go back to episode 99 and listen to that one because it is a great story. I still tell people that story and it stayed with me 30 episodes later. So yeah, please go listen to the baby exchange during COVID, car to car. It's fantastic. So you guys went back to the States.
Yeah, so we were in Texas for about, I think...
It was 2 years.
2 years,
yeah.
Just under 2 years or around 2 years somewhere. And we decided we weren't happy in the States and we wanted to get back into the international teaching world. So we contacted our school in Kuwait and we were like, hey, do you have any availability for next year? And they welcomed us back with open arms. And so we went back for another 3 years. And that was our last year.
This last school year was.
Was our sixth and final year in Kuwait. And now we are in Pakistan.
We're in Karachi,
Pakistan. Karachi, yep. Pakistan. And you had a second child in there. Was that in the States?
Yes. He was born, I think, literally a couple weeks after we decided to move back. So it was like a crazy time moving houses, having a baby, and a 2-year-old and flying back to Kuwait and all that,
So I don't know if I talked about this on the last episode, but at the time, I thought that I wanted to get out of education because I was just not enjoying what education is like in the States, and I actually had a job lined up with like a hedge fund to go and be their tech guy. But I sat around and I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I don't actually dislike education. I just dislike what it's become with all of the requirements and no time. I actually had a good time when I was teaching internationally. What if we just go do that again? So,
And have you since changed your mind? You're not looking at hedge funds in the near
no,
future?
no. That I don't think I would have been happy, honestly. I
So
like education.
Greg often talks about this, the fact that teaching overseas is a lot like teaching back home, but it also isn't. And I think one of the biggest differences is the respect we get as teachers overseas, as opposed to our home countries, where it feels a little bit like people are telling us we've chosen this pathway because of the vacations and the short hours. Like, you've never been a teacher if you think we have short out working hours during the week.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, our audience and ourselves, a little bit about what are some of those differences you saw, because you've had that experience in both countries?
Yeah, I think just from the States, I think the workload is a lot more reasonable. The balance. I'm not going to say that our days are short, but um, I remember in Texas they had like this law that they had passed where we had to all get this like extra training that wasn't paid for. It was like taking a college course on top of things. When I had a kid at home, there was no time during the day to do any of this stuff. Whereas here, I have a lot, and this was true in Kuwait. I have a lot more planning periods, and it just feels like the work. Like that's the biggest thing for me. It feels like the work-life balance is a little bit better.
Yeah, that was also one thing for me as well. I didn't in the States. I took work home. I paid out of my own pocket for things for my classroom. I had just started at a new school, like a brand new school. It had opened that August, and I was given a little tiny cupboard of supplies, and I was like, how? And I was teaching preschool, and my AP told me, oh, well, because the first day of school I didn't have any of my materials. And she goes, well, just get to know them. And I was kind of like,
All day.
Wow.
they're pre-K. I kind of need some toys to like entertain them and dance and puppets and, all of that. But okay, I'll do my best. And
Would you say that was like a little bit of reverse culture shock because
yeah,
we weren't used to being expected to buy everything for a classroom
yeah.
because that's not the case in
I'm
any of
seeing
the
GoFundMe's. I see
Uh-huh.
GoFundMe's and Amazon wish lists being shared on Facebook groups saying, hey, help me supply my classroom. And I just think, my gosh, what happened to, the teacher is responsible for the learning, not necessarily for the equipping of a classroom.
And also, like, that stuff comes out of your own pocket. What if a child destroys that or, something like that? Like, you paid for that. And then you're out that money that you spent
That's
on
not
it
an
too,
if,
right?
that's a win. That's,
Yeah.
So
that's
flip
just
that on its head. What's it like teaching in what's the city again? Karachi.
Karachi.
So what's it like for both of you teaching right now? How is it? How's the situation with supplies, with students, and all that kind of stuff?
This is amazing. So our classrooms are all funded. Like they've got everything. We each have our own. So at this school, this was not true in Kuwait, but here we each have our own teaching assistant. I have a class of 8 students.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
So-
actually,
What?
the upper elementary grades are split into 2, so he has only 8 students at a time, but a total of 16.
Total of 16, but I only have 8 of
Oh,
them.
you
at a
must be so overworked with 16 students. Oh,
I know. I'm just exhausted.
Wow.
Anytime I need something, I'll ask my assistant and I'll be like, I want to do this activity next week. And she'll have it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. So,
And is the assistant a local teacher, or is it also an international assistant teacher?
For me, she's local. Yours is international,
but
but she's married to a local. So
yeah, so local. Most of them are local. Yeah.
So the advantage is they have also the local language. If you have, I presume you also have local students in your classroom.
Yeah.
Pakistani.
Most of our students are, I would say the majority of our students are Pakistani, maybe some with dual citizenship. We have a few international students, but I'm not sure if that was different before COVID or not, but I think that's just kind of the population we serve here.
And so equipment, materials, all great. And let's talk a little bit about the curriculum. Is it something you've had to remake completely different from your past, or is it something familiar?
So what we use at the school is iReady. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it's kind of like an online program. So we're not online all the time, but it's just the whole curriculum is there online for us.
Yeah, it's completely online, and the kids can go online and they can do some of the lessons online. They can play games online, and it tailors the lessons to the skills that they're working on. And once they pass those skills, they can go on to the next level, and it keeps like building these lessons for them. But we can also go in there and assign lessons for them as well. But it's also part of magnetic reading, and so we have the books and things, the physical copies of it as well. But what was nice was our books were stuck in the port for the first month or so of school. And so we had the online resources, and our admin was like, print as much as you need. Yeah. Go for it, make sure that you have that.
Yeah, because you have the books coming along, but they're just not. That is one of the realities. I don't know, Greg, if you've experienced this, where you're waiting for the shipment to arrive to actually do your lessons and things. I remember as a French teacher in the Middle East, waiting for DVDs to come from France so that I could actually do some of the film studies that I wanted to do. And so, sometimes you just have to be more flexible with your timing and say, well, I guess this is going to be in January when I have the materials.
But I don't feel like we got behind, though, because we had all this stuff online that we were able to just, print it off and go,
For science, we have mystery science, and I should rephrase. These are all tied to Common Core standards, and then I think we use Arrow standards for social studies, which I'd used both of those standard sets before. So social studies is probably the one that we're building the most up, just trying to. I think it's been like everyone's kind of done their own thing, so trying to pick through everybody's stuff, and we're working on making it an actual set curriculum this year. So.
And that's the reality overseas, is you're going to have international teachers from all over, not necessarily all American teachers at an American school. And so they'll have, what do they call it? Like a suitcase curriculum. They sort of bring in their program and then want to do that because they have all their lessons ready and they have all their expectations ready. So
the hardest thing about social studies too, for me in the past, it's been at least across the grade levels, is to make it relevant. Not just about the U.S., especially if you're using a U.S.-based curriculum, but not just social studies about the U.S., but making it alive and something that they can grasp onto there in that host country. And that's not easy to do. And I'm sure you're still figuring that out. You haven't been there very long, right? It's oh, wow. I love the fact that you're so new at this country, I mean. And we just had a guest on the other day. It said, it's like every time you go to a new country, it's like you're starting over as a new teacher. And that's not by any means completely true. I mean, you're experienced teachers. But when you go into a new country, wouldn't you agree with that? You sort of feel like that I'm the new teacher. I got to learn some new steps. And you have a bunch of old tricks, yeah?
Yeah, I was going to say, can we talk a little bit about the onboarding? So, some of the teachers heading overseas would be a little nervous, like, am I just going to land and have to find an apartment and do all the stuff? How did your school take care of that?
Our school picked us up at the airport, and they had a house for us already. We're on campus, so we were all just right here, and they had food in our fridge, a few, items of food in our fridge, a few things in the kitchen for us, some sheets on our bed, some of the basics, right? But they were all very welcoming. They got us cash when we landed in the airport. Nice. But the very next day, they gave us more cash to go shopping with, because actually getting here was a little tricky because we got sick. We had some flight delays and missed connections, and 16 lost suitcases, and
it was one of those trips.
Yeah,
that I'm sure. You guys have
wow.
Yeah.
But they were
so that's traveling with a family. You got the extra luggage, the extra baggage allowance. Yeah. But then if they end up losing your suitcases, did you ever get them back?
Yes. We got them back, yeah.
Mm-hmm. A few days later. Yeah, just a couple of days. And our head of transportation took care of everything. I think we just signed the documents at the airport, and then they took care of the rest of it.
Wow.
That school's taking good care of you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have a house on campus. So my commute is way shorter than it was in Kuwait. It's 2 minutes out the door, and then we're there. So that's really nice.
Our boys literally run to school every morning, and they'll race each other to see who can get there the fastest to the playground.
and so they're both registered. They're both in probably separate classes because they're different ages. Tell us a little bit about their experience.
They love it here. Kuwait, when we lived there, it was great for us, but it's the desert. We came from the desert, and we felt like we couldn't spend a lot of time outside as much as we wanted to because of that, the heat and the concrete and all that. And don't get me wrong, Kuwait is great for family life. However, our youngest, Lincoln, is obsessed with the outdoors. So he loves the trees and the animals and hearing the birds.
Animals. We have so many animals on campus. We have a tortoise named Speedy. There's a turtle pond. They take care of all the cats on campus. So if a cat comes on campus, they have a guy he's the cat guy, I think it is. Yeah. And so he goes and if a new cat shows up, he goes and gets them vaccinated. They try to put a collar on them. That's supposed to be the sign that they've been vaccinated, but the cats hate them, so they tear them off. So,
and then just the birds too, waking up to the sound of birds versus no birds in the big city. Well, in Kuwait.
And I don't know if this is normal for Karachi, but our campus is very green. It's I feel like it's pretty big and it's pretty green. We've got a whole track area you can go and walk around, and there's a playground.
Yeah. So they're happy, very happy with that.
And they're in what grades or what classes are they in?
So our youngest, Lincoln, he's 3. So he's in what's called K3, which is the equivalent of pre-K 3.
Pre-K.
And then our oldest is 5, and he is in kindergarten. So they're both together in the early learning center, but just in separate classrooms. And they start their day every day on the playground, and they say, "Bye, Mom, bye, Dad," and shoo us away because they're too busy.
Yeah. And are you an early years teacher, kindergarten, or are you into the elementary now?
I'm in the elementary, actually. I was the early years in Kuwait and for a long time. And as much as I love it, it's really hard to go and teach early years and then be at home with the early years. And I kind of got a little burnt out on that. So I am teaching 4th grade this year.
And I'm 3rd grade this year. So.
Ooh, okay, a little bit of
There's no way
swappies.
I could be a parent of little toddlers, like a 3 and a 5-year-old. I would never do it. Hands off to you guys for even attempting that. I know you didn't have a choice, but at some point, there's no way I could do it. I have 650 students this year from K through 3, right, as a tech teacher. And they just come and go. They all just bye-bye, hello, come on in, go another one. I could not go home. I am so mentally drained right now. My brain is just it's like mush because all these kids have come in and out of my classroom. Kindergarten, 1st grade, oh my God. And then to go home to 1 or 2. Oh, bless you guys. Fantastic. Parents that are elementary teachers are so amazing. Hats off to you.
I feel like it's easy when I have 8 students at a time.
Oh yeah, we're spoiled this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to leave the conversation now. I'm going to go to sleep. All right.
Yeah,
Eight students.
608.
My Kuwaiti experience was like that in special needs high school. I had 4 students and I had 8 students, and that was a different situation. But it's not uncommon for us to hear from other teachers that they have very relatively small classrooms, less than 20. If we were just to say less than 20, that's a big average. A big average. Is that real? There's a real average of teachers that we talk to in elementary schools, especially that across the world, that have less than 20. And 8, I mean, that's sort of like on the, well, that's really small.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I went from 32 grade 8s in Canada in one classroom, and it was impossible. We didn't even have enough chairs. We had to import some chairs from other classrooms. 32 grade 8s to 16 in Turkey. And I just, it was a half a class. And all of a sudden, half the problems go away, half the behavior problems. So it's just so much more manageable. And you just feel like you're teaching. You're getting to do what you love more than, being sort of the fire hydrant trying to put out all these fires in the classroom.
It does depend on the school, though. I mean, my first school in Honduras, back in 2001, I had 32 fifth graders in a classroom, and that was the average for that school. And it goes back and forth, and schools have different. It depends on if they're a company-owned school or if they're a nationally owned school, whatever it is. There's so many different varieties of schools, but I think for the most part, like I said, the average is that they're less than 20 for elementary. But we'll have a lot of people screaming on the other end going, no way, I've got 40.
Yeah.
I mean, in Kuwait, I had 24 when the average was about 23 a year. So that's what I had in Kuwait. You had less because you were in JLC.
Pre-COVID, I had like 22, 23, and then our numbers dropped during COVID.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, my current school has 26 average, was like 2 years ago, and we've gone down a little bit slowly for a cap in a classroom before they add another class. I think we're at like 22 or 24 right now as a cap, and the second graders on down, they're less than that. So we could talk about it for hours. It's like, it depends on the school. I'm so happy you guys have 8 students. I mean, you can really sit back at the end of the day and go, let me plan this one out. Oh, wait, it's all online.
8 students with 2 teachers in the room.
I know, with an assistant. I can believe it. I can believe it.
Everything is just small
some
groups.
schools.
I mean, or not even small groups. It's so much one-on-one, education. And that was kind of we knew how small the class sizes were, which was a big benefit for us. But we have kids going through this school. We know they're going to get the attention that they need. So that's a big deal for us.
The early years too, like our boys are I think one of our boys has 6 in his class and the other one has 10. And I'm loving that because they get more attention from the teacher, that one-on-one attention. And I'm really happy about that.
And they're getting to go through a system of meeting kids from around the world, local kids, so maybe they're even picking up some of the local language.
Yeah. Our oldest, the other night, I was putting him to bed, and he was singing the Days of the Week song that he learned in Urdu class. And
Cool.
I wasn't sure what he was singing at first. And then he was like, no, Mommy, it's the days of the week. Oh, okay.
Soon they're going to be the translator.
His next birthday, he's going to be asking for a cricket bat,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Actually,
have you guys been to a cricket match yet?
No, we haven't been to cricket. I think right now it's a little bit of a sore subject in the city, but there was a big cricket match. I have no idea. Oh. There's a big cricket match between India the other day, and I think I don't really understand cricket scoring, but it was a very close game. And
I don't understand it either. I think it takes like 3 days to play a game sometimes.
Yeah.
They run back and forth between the wicket and whatever that's called, the base or something, yeah.
Yeah.
And we touched upon it, but the onboarding of when you arrive is one thing, but then is there some kind of like a transition week or a couple weeks where they give you the lowdown of how the school does things?
So honestly, there wasn't this time because we were 2 of 3 new hires. So
Oh,
they
so it was
they
a
did
very low
not
turnover.
they did yeah they don't have a lot of turnover, and a lot of people that have been here for like 5 to 8 years. So
Oh.
it's so that was kind of why they didn't. Not to say they didn't take care of us, just
They
that
did.
we had a week, and it's been more of just like, all right, what do you guys need? What stuff have we missed? Let us know, and we'll figure it out and help you guys get
tailor
ready.
made tailor made onboarding, like what do you
Yeah.
need, and we can kind of fill the gaps. Well, that's kind of nice, because yeah, some schools will have Greg, you've had schools where they give like sort of a week of PD kind of workshops and introduction to the various even departments, like this is our HR, this is our tech department, here's how to sign on to a computer, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, and every school has something different. And I know we were talking to Dr. Was it Dr. Liam? We were talking to his onboarding process. You know, being out to dinner. There's cohorts sometimes, but if you're only 2 or 3 of you in a cohort that's arriving in a smaller school, you may not have all that rigmarole. You might have an easier process. You know, it's not like you're organizing 15 to 20 people to come into the school. So it's so interesting. It's a great experience you're having there, and I'm very happy. This is your second or third international school. If you have a great onboarding experience, you're more willing to stay a number of years past your contract or through your contract, and you're not going to lose teachers, right? So
Yeah.
that's one of my theories.
Well, and you're talking about the turnover is quite low. I mean, the average stay sounds like to be 5 to 8 years at your school. That's always a good sign as well.
Yeah. Everyone just, I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of drama either, you know, and so I think everyone's just kind of happy to be here and happy to do their job and very stress free. So, yeah, we've enjoyed it because of that so far.
Yeah.
And
So
you
let's
shielded
ta-
your family also. I'm sorry, I was going to mention this. You must have shielded your family already because you were in Kuwait. So now when people hear that you're going to Pakistan before you left, they're like, oh, Pakistan, sure, that's over there too. So, you know, over by Kuwait, somewhere over there, right? I'm sure did your
They
family
were
have
a
a
little
different...
bit more. So I think our immediate family, like our parents, were a little bit more nervous just because they had all been to Kuwait, and they're like, okay, Kuwait is safe. You are going to Pakistan. What are you talking about? You know, but for the average American friend, they probably don't see them as that different, but they're very different.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know,
I
this
agree.
Are people able to come and visit you to be able to see your day-to-day life?
they can. So we'll get to. I guess this is a good segue into some of the downsides of living in Karachi. Is that we're very
Segue.
much in a bubble. So if they come, we could go see a few things, but we're a bit limited on where we can go in the city. Just like safety wise. So we have a whole security team. Whenever we go out with armed guards, and we do have vehicles that take us that are bulletproof. Not that I've ever seen a need for those, but that is the reality of where we're going. And we have to set up our transport ahead of time. So I can't say, you know what, I really want to go to this restaurant right this second. Let's just go. I have to know I'm going to do that, you know. I think it's by like
So you
10
got to be
o'clock in the morning.
planners. You have to plan
Yeah.
things. I've heard of that in some African countries as well, where it's not as, off the cuff, just decide to walk somewhere, a restaurant or a store. You have to sort of organize yourselves a little bit.
Well, you're also representing your own country. You're, as a foreigner, you're representing much more than just you being there. You're representing the fact that you're U.S. citizens living there, et cetera, right? So you are taking that into account, and they have a history, and they know what they have to do to keep you safe. So I think that's... Do you live on a compound?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
And everything you need is on that, in that sort of that bubble You have to go
there's
out.
Not like a store, so we have to go to the grocery store to get groceries. We have things that we can do. So we have access to we have a pool on campus, so we have access to that. There's a workout room. There's any of the like sports things we can go and use at any time.
The playground.
It's not like I haven't been there, but I know like some of the Saudi compounds are like whole entire like villages, and it's not like that. We still have to go out to get we have to go to a store to get like our haircut or to go grocery shopping.
And do they do that on a weekly basis? They have some set times that you can sort of join in on a group to do that with a bus, or do you set it up through the security?
We set it up with the transport. So it's our own, like we get our own, either depending on the amount of people, it's either a truck or a van, but they just want to know by like 10 o'clock all right, what are you planning to do today? So we make sure we have the drivers, we make sure we have the cars. We've never been told no on anything yet.
But it takes some getting used to. It's a whole way of a system that you're not used to. And compared to Kuwait, where you just get in the car and go and do whatever you need to, because it's so small, first of all. But yeah, okay, I can get that. And it's not easy to just transition into that, but good on you for that. It's interesting to hear that.
That wasn't a surprise for us. We knew that going in because they gave us, going back to like the hiring process, our superintendent basically gave us everyone in the school's email and says, ask them whatever you want. And everyone was like, oh, this is a joy to work here. We got so many emails. JP Mint helped us this last time, so...
All right, let's take a moment for a little commercial about how to get in touch with us. You can, of course, find all four of us at the itpexpat.com. That's www.itpexpat.com.
Or you could also find us at email at internationalteacherpodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Or if you're into Facebook, we have a new Facebook group at www.facebook.com/groups/ITPexpat, where you can find all kinds of inside information about ITP Expat.
You can also find us on Instagram at ITP Expats. That's with an S. ITP Expats is our handle.
All right, and thank you, listeners. We have over 100 countries represented by our listeners, and though we're not monetized, we are here for you, and we would like to thank all of you for listening. So let's get back to the show.
So last September, a year ago September, we contacted JP and we knew that we were leaving. And so we asked JP to kind of help us figure out to find the right fit for this school.
And they were very sought after. They had a number of pans in the fire. And so it was a matter of deciding and trying to see what is a good fit for you professionally and also your kids.
But they were very transparent about that. As you went into it, you knew full well what you're going to be getting into with compound, with security, and it's very transparent. That was important because they as a school, they don't want to hire somebody and have them disappear. Right?
Yeah, you don't want to get there and find out that this is totally not what I expected. Yeah.
I think even the first interview we had was like, so it's Karachi. Are you sure? You sure you want to do Karachi? Like it's like they front load all the bad stuff to filter out the people that this isn't for them, and then they're like, all right, now we can talk about all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of good stuff, my understanding with Karachi American School is that there are some like inter-city, inter-school leagues that you're able to go and see other schools in Pakistan. Is that correct?
Yeah. So for sports, I'm coaching swimming right now, and so it's called SISA, which is the international sports
Tazem's
league.
in SISA.
Yeah.
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 So,
my old school in Muscat, Oman.
And so, there's that school. We're going to Sri Lanka for the swim meet.
The Overseas School of Colombo?
Colombo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Geckos.
so
Talk later. You got to see my friend Kristen Anson and her husband. Oh, they're Madhu. They're great. And I
Are
have
they
some
at
other
OSC?
friends there too.
Oh, nice.
But there's also what they have, which is just SISA like Pakistan, which is which is KS, and I don't know the other school's name, but there's one in Islamabad, there's one
Islamabad,
in Lahore. And so
Lahore
they have,
American
like,
School, yeah. Because
they
they
have
used
that
to be, I think
competition.
they're still in SISA. But depending on, so you might have noticed as well, Karachi is a small school, Islamabad is a small school, as well as Lahore. And it's sometimes hard to put together a sports team. So not every year do they have boys and girls teams in all the sports. So I always remember being a volleyball coach with SISA, and some years we'd have Pakistani teams and other years we wouldn't. And it was just a hit and miss.
Yeah.
But swimming
And-
sounds like it's fruitful. There's enough players or enough
We have
athletes.
a very small team, but we're still going. So
Yeah.
We just have the coach. We don't have the team. We just have the coach. He's going to represent us.
Three kids.
you're not far off, JP. We've got about I think we're sending it's either 8, it's somewhere between 8 to 10, but
Oh, well, that's all right.
Yeah. So
And so you get to travel to you mentioned Sri Lanka this year and get to see neighboring countries, but as well, will you be able to travel to other places in Pakistan safely, or will you also need to arrange security for that?
I think we can go to Islamabad, and there's not really any restrictions there. So we could just get a hotel there and go there. We haven't planned that trip yet, but we had it recommended to us. So that's something we'll probably do. And a lot of people go up north. There's some beautiful mountains up north. So eventually we would like to go do that.
Mm-hmm. And Pakistan is quite central. Like, you're not far from Europe, I feel, and the Middle East. So are some of those possibilities?
Yeah, actually, we had, what was it, a 4-day or 5-day weekend, one of our first weeks here, and we took off and went to Abu Dhabi for the weekend. Took the kids to Yaz Island and did that with them. Got out, just for a few days, swam at the pool, all the fun kid stuff, right?
We had to go see Batman at Warner Brothers World, so that was that trip.
Yaz Island, they're making a Disney World there.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? Yeah.
It's gonna have like an Arabian Disney castle or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram or something. I thought, oh my gosh, Abu Dhabi and Dubai, they really do have everything. I mean, they have done the whole tourism sector so well that I think now, if I'm not mistaken, Greg, Saudi Arabia is trying to get in on that. They're trying to open up the doors a little bit more to the kingdom and get more tourists.
Yeah, but they'll never catch up to Dubai. It's just really, I mean, Kuwait will never catch up to Dubai and anything like that either. I think that
I don't think Kuwait's
they're behind,
trying.
but
Kuwait's not trying.
I was going to say a little bit about that trip. I didn't mean to cut you off. If you have something you want to say. It'll tie into something else I want to talk about, Karachi. That was difficult for us, but that was partially a grocery trip too, because what we found when we got here is that there's not a lot of food that my son likes here, and it's very hard to find deli meat turkey, which is what he wants. So we got a bunch of turkey in Abu Dhabi and brought it back with us.
We packed it into a cooler, in our suitcase, brought it back with us.
Now it's in our freezer.
Yeah, now it's in our freezer. Also, the ragu sauce. So our son is so picky. He won't eat any other type of white spaghetti sauce or pasta, red sauce. He will only do the ragu brand white sauce. And I'm like,
have you tried
Ragu.
emptying the jars, keeping the jars, putting something else in, and having him see it come out of the ragu jar?
That's maybe
Will he
something
know
we
the
need to
difference?
try. Yeah.
I don't know. But we have an entire cupboard full of them now. So we won't have to worry about that for a while.
What we
wonder
do
why you
for
had
the
16
kids.
suitcases.
Yeah.
The food was kind of difficult for us to get used to. Not the food itself. Like I like Pakistani food. It's a lot of
Spicy,
biryani,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's spicy, and the spicy doesn't matter to me. It's just that we did get sick. Like we had just
some stomach issues.
Stomach issues for about a month, and I feel like we finally
for about a month.
I feel like I finally settled a little bit, and it's that's very different than the Gulf. So that was kind of getting some used to.
Yeah, food safety. I remember being in India and Delhi and being very careful, trying to be very careful, and I still ended up getting a bug that I brought back because it was a weekend. So brought back to Oman, and it was a week of not feeling good. So it is an issue with some of those countries that are especially warmer countries where refrigeration can be a little hit and miss. I'm surprised in Korea in the 90s that I didn't get sick, but I didn't. And I would see like raw chicken sitting in the sun in the market. And then that night we'd go eat fried chicken. And it kind of dawned on me like, oh, this might be that chicken that we saw in the sun all day. And now it's being fried, but never got sick. So it's always a gamble, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the longer you're overseas, the better you have an iron stomach, and you can handle these kinds of things. It's just another day for Pepto-Bismol, right?
And also, I thought it was funny that I got sick on the way to Karachi, and then I didn't get sick for a few days after, like when we were here. So I got it before we came, and little backwards there, but
a little Tex-Mex trouble.
No. I think it was a stomach bug because our oldest was sick, a day or two before we left, something like that. And then our first flight was super delayed, which caused us to miss our connecting flight in Chicago, which, by the way, Chicago O'Hare, probably the worst airport imaginable.
Oh, I don't think it's the worst.
And that's in the summer. And I've done it in the winter and been delayed. So, I try and avoid Chicago.
Hate Chicago.
Call it O'Hare Airport, not O'Hare. O'Hare. Yeah. But anyway, they took 2 hours to get us rebooked on our flights in Chicago. And we're standing there. And then finally we get into our hotel that night. And I got so sick. And I think I got what he had, that stomach bug. But by the time we left for the airport the next day, I was fine. So it was just one of those.
It was Chicago that made you sick. That's what it was.
Yeah.
But this was funny, and I just want to add this on since we're talking about it because it was probably a rookie mistake. But we had barely any clothes because what happened was our flight was delayed going to Chicago, but the flight to were we going to Doha?
Yeah.
Flight to Doha was also delayed. So on any of those hoppers, we were from Des Moines to Chicago. They always ask like, "Oh, do you want to check your checked bags?" I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Check your carry-on.
Then we'll make the flight because we have an hour. If we check it, then we'll make it. Didn't make it because they moved the flight up when we were there, and so we had, I think,
no carry-on.
They were supposed to be delayed 2 hours, and we were like, okay, great, we're gonna make our flight, and we landed into Chicago, and we're looking at the board, and it's like boarding. So we're running down the airport, transferring terminals, going out of security, back into security, all that. And by the time it was all said and done, we get to the gate, and there's the plane, but the door's closed, and we're like,
and they won't open it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And was it the same airline? Like you would think they would be able to talk. Oh, maybe that's why they talk to each other.
Qatar Airways.
Yeah.
So.
And then they fought over who was going to fly us to Karachi. That's why it took over 2 hours to rebook us. And then they lost our luggage. Even though our luggage sat in Chicago for a few days, I could see it. I had air tagged everything.
Ooh,
so I could
the day of air tags.
Yeah. And they fought over who was going to get it to us. And then it was just a headache.
But you said that your school, the head of transport, he kind of took care of things once it landed in Pakistan. He managed to get all that to you.
Well, the airport delivered it to the school, but he was the one who was like, okay, here's the school, you know, the address. He kind of talked to them about it and like gave his phone number and stuff, and they called him when it got there and all that. And, you know, he brought it to our door and he was like, okay, look it over, make sure everything looks good. You know, all of those things.
Nice. And for our listeners that are new to the international, sometimes you will find an advantage to take all the luggage with you, and then other times, like I started to do this later in my career, is that I would use a shipping allowance and get partial shipping containers, you know, and then was able
Because
to
you
bring a
have
lot more
rugs.
stuff. Yeah, because I had rugs, but I never had furniture, but I started to get a lot more things and collect a lot more stuff. And then before you knew it, I was like 54 boxes to Mexico. Sure. So there are different options. Have you guys ever gone that route?
We haven't, but it's only because when we went to Kuwait, it was, I think, cheaper or easier for us to just take extra suitcases. And going to Karachi, that was something that we considered. And we didn't end up doing it because someone told us, oh, your stuff's just going to sit at customs for 6 months, and kind of discouraged us from doing that. And so we were like, well, okay, let's just take extra suitcases and pay for it, use our shipping allowance, you know.
Yeah. So we just brought.
I bet you, Jake, you have one suitcase, and the other 15 were for your wife and kids, right?
Something for her, I think, just kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's pretty
And
good.
kids are small. Their clothes are supposed to be smaller, but somehow
It's toys.
that doesn't work out. Yeah.
Toys
Yeah.
and other kid items.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we didn't try to bring any turkey that time. It would have rotted by the time it got to us.
Yeah, that is also the I've only had, in all my travels, I've only had one suitcase go lost completely, but I have had a couple that were delayed. And I remember one year the suitcase got delayed in Istanbul in the middle of the summer, and it was loaded with chocolate. It was, of course, the chocolate suitcase. So when it got to me, I still ate it. It was chocolate chips in a bag, but it was just like one big block of chocolate. So like grating it, trying to make something with it. But yeah, you're not going to throw that out. That's good chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we're getting towards the end here.
Yes.
So let's go around and have some final thoughts.
No. We've got two questions.
Oh, well, they answered those last time, but
no,
if
but
you'd
they
like
might
to do
be
the questions
different.
again.
They might be different. Of course, they might have a
Pardon
new
me.
police.
She's
they might
the
have
boss.
a new
Okay,
police
I'm
story.
sorry, boss.
Come on, I want to hear a new
All right,
police
JP,
story.
go ahead and ask the questions.
Well, Hannah, Jake, have you got a new police story since the last we've ran into each other?
You want to do
Two.
two police stories?
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Sure.
See, we got
I
a bonus.
almost
One of
missed
them
two.
super short, and then we can share the other if you
The other one
want.
relates to the first police story, kind of. So.
Yeah, the other one relates to our COVID baby police story.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, like an epilogue.
So, which one do you want to do first?
You share the car one first.
Okay, this one's kind of funny, okay? We were driving to school one day in Kuwait, and Jake was driving. I was in the passenger seat. We had our son in the back and a friend with us. And Jake hands me his phone to do something for him, but he opened his phone with Face ID first and handed it to me. Well, there's a police officer right there, and all of a sudden, sirens are on, and he's pulling us over because, you know, not allowed to be on your phone while you're driving.
Phone. Oh my
But-
gosh.
And this is why it's funny, is
Face
that
ID and then handing it to me, like, that's not really using your phone.
I'm never on my phone when I drive, and I think you'll admit that you are on your phone more than me. And I'm always like, Hannah, get off your phone. And I'm the one that gets pulled over for having my phone out while driving. We didn't get a ticket or anything. It was just like a warning that in Arabic that I didn't understand. Sternly worded warning. Nothing ever showed up on my thing later.
That's good. That's good.
But the last one happened when we were leaving Kuwait. We had to get like all these exit things and everything, and ours was like, all right, there's something wrong with yours. They're not canceling our
Cancel
visas.
our work visas, yeah.
Jake, you're going to have to go with this guy from the school and figure out what's going on. And so we go there, and I find out that I have like this huge, humongous fine for harboring an illegal alien, which was our son, the one that couldn't get a card when we were trying to leave the country.
Oh no!
Because so our first son was born in February of 2020, right? And we got his passport issued March 10th or something like that, like mid-March of that year. But the government had shut down March 1st and had stopped issuing visas. And so I don't know if you remember me saying this in our story when we got to the airport. They're like, you can leave, but he can't come back in.
So we went to so many different people, like talking to them, trying, and the guy that was with me was really nice, and he was able to talk him down, because I guess they could have charged me up to like $2,000 US. He got him down to like 600, but I did have to pay $600 for harboring an illegal alien, which was
your son.
Yeah,
your son.
Oh my gosh, the things for paperwork.
Kuwaiti taxes. That was how I thought about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little
Chalk it up
departure
to the
tax.
Kuwaiti experience, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Greg, second question.
Well, yeah. What do you guys take with you now that you've got two kids? What are some things that you take with you for the new countries that you go to?
Still coffee, of course. Mama needs her coffee. Otherwise, I can't function. But this time, for me, this was a me thing. Is I had to take my Cricut, if you know what that is. It's like a big crafting machine. So it cuts and draws and all that.
You're addicted.
Yeah. I had
You know
to
it,
take
Greg? You know this thing?
Yes, it's a cutter. It cuts materials and everything. It's very, very cool.
Is it for scrapbooking?
Make something for your mug or something for your students.
Yeah.
It's
Like
very.
t-shirts and stuff.
You could do paper.
Yeah.
You could do materials or anything like that. Yeah, and it's
And it
great for
makes
making student
stickers
items too.
stuff. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now I guess the new ones are, we need our turkey and we need our ragu pasta sauce.
Ragu pasta sauce. This episode sponsored by Ragu. Boy, if we could get sponsorship, that would be great.
Exactly.
Well, that is fantastic. I would like to thank both of you. Greg, last words before we. Oh yeah, I'm not the outro. You're the outro.
It doesn't matter. You're into it now.
No, Tag, you're it.
All right, give us your last thoughts here, JP, before we say goodbye to our guests.
All right. Well, I really was looking forward to this. Hannah and I were Instagram messaging back and forth saying, looking forward to touching base. I'm really, really happy that the school seems to be a great fit for you guys, and hopefully for a couple of years, your boys sound really good and settled as well. And maybe you'll come back on the show again in a couple months, couple years when things are more settled and you want to have other police stories to share. Maybe you'll have Pakistani police stories to share. But thank you so much for coming on.
All right, Jake, any last thoughts for us?
I think what I would say is, just from going through this last round of looking for a school, Karachi, Pakistan was anywhere on our list for our next location. Honestly, like, we were trying for like Latin America just because we missed Brazil. But I would say, if you go out there, be open to as many places as possible, because you don't know, like, fall in love with a school, not necessarily a place, because you'll have cultural experiences anywhere.
Right, Hannah?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. This kind of just fell into our laps, and it was not a school that we considered at first, and I don't think it was anywhere on our radar, and I'm glad that we did it, because I think this has been probably one of the best experiences we've had. So,
Well, I would say that you're both echoing what a lot of other seasoned teachers have always said about overseas, is that the least expecting, some school that's out remote, somewhere you'd never thought of going or even said you'd never go to, and you run into somebody that you connect with, you go to that school, it might be the time of your life. at least the best stories, the best experience. You never know, but a lot of teachers say that in their history of where they've gone. All right, thank you very much, JP. I want to say thank you for helping me host this show tonight. You can find JP at jpmintconsulting.com or anywhere else on the web that has mint colors, right, JP? Oh, she might be frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll say goodbye for JP. We would like to thank Hannah and Jake calling from Pakistan. It's been such a joy to have you both on our show again, so we're going to see you our third time maybe.
Yep. Thanks again for having us. It's been great.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. It's so much fun to have you on there. And I'm Greg, the single guy, coming at you from the Middle East, and we will see you next episode. So thank you so much for joining us. All right, you guys, that was pretty good. Pretty lame.